I now welcome Pranav Baskar, a member of the great class of 2022, to introduce our commencement speaker.
It's Pranav Baskar. Good morning, everybody, and to the class of 2022. This is our great American story. At this incredible institution, laureled professors taught us in buildings that look like castles. We passed neatly trimmed lawns and a glimmering lake, brushing shoulders with the children of movie stars and money. It's a fact, whether or not you like to admit it, that in our times here, we were surrounded by this casual elitism, immersed in its glamour and the power of an exorbitantly wealthy institution. But, nevertheless, all of us, regardless of background, got the same message when we got here, that we make up an elite cadre of students who are this country's best and brightest, meritocracy's chosen ones. The idea of our own exceptionalism was hammered into us. We were told and retold from the moment we got here that our Northwestern peers would go on to write laws, invent technological breakthroughs, that we would change the course of history. I think it would be silly and downright depressing if I got up here and told you that same old hackneyed story again. So today, I'm going to tell you about a history that never got written. A clan secret, snuffed by a lineage of family patriarchs and then slowly eroded by time. It's the kind of story perhaps too small for the archivist, too quotidian for the historian, too fruitless for the politician, but that small, quotidian, fruitless story is how I got here. To this stage, graduating from the kind of institution generations of my family could just dream about. In other words, I'm here because of a quiet injustice, and because decades ago, a dream died. Before I continue, please let me explain. Technically, the task of my remarks today are to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Isabel Wilkerson. You should know her for being a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author, whose stories drip with richness. But more specifically, Wilkerson was awarded the prize in 1994 for her narrative writing while serving as the Chicago bureau chief of the New York Times. That made her the first Black woman in the history of American journalism to win the prize, and the first African American to win an individual reporting. In 2016, President Barack Obama awarded Wilkerson the National Humanities Medal for championing the stories of an unsung history. So let me tell you about one of the most unsung histories I know, but to do that, we'll need to go back to the beginning. 1960s southern India, when poverty beat down on my family like the oppressive sun. My grandmother's dream was to be an economist. And when Baba was 18, things were falling into place. Academically, she was a blazing force to be reckoned with. Based on her grades, she, in an era when women were just being allowed to enter the hallowed halls of Indian higher education, had just won gold medal for best cumulative scores in her university's economics program. Here it was, her shining exit ticket from a cycle of generational poverty. She wanted to serve in the Indian Administrative Service, but her father had different plans. He barred her from taking the entrance exam, so Baba graduated college at 19 in June, but not 3 months later, by September, she was married off. By 21, she had her first child, and just like that, Janaki Vishwanathan, my grandmother, the little girl who wanted to transform a fledgling country's hobbled economy, became a housewife. In her book, Caste: The Origins of Our Discontents, Wilkerson writes this: "The hierarchy of caste is not about feelings or morality. It's about power. Which groups have it and which do not. My Baba did not have power, but I have never seen strength so strong, fortitude so steely than in my grandmother's eyes. So I don't tell this story without a reason. To me, my grandmother's history is elemental to how I got here. And, in fact, I'd wager to say that many of us here, immigrants, students of color, first-generation and low-income students, have similar narratives about the dreams that had to die and the grand visions that had to be squashed so we could stand here today. And here's the thing. I can't say I know all of your stories or that I even know all of you, but maybe someone gave up on a dream so you could graduate from Northwestern University. Which brings me to my point. America likes to tell us a pretty story. You can do anything here, you can become anyone you want to, and when you succeed, that success is distinctly yours, the product of your individual merit. But here, I see a through line between my grandmother's story and the kinds that Wilkerson tells. They dispel a great American story that is, in fact, a great American myth. They teach us that our exceptionalism is not just our own. We are exceptional, but it's because of every quiet injustice, every dashed hope, every moment of strife, and every dead dream. But most importantly, every moment of love our ancestors invested into a generation they had not even met yet. So here's how I'll finish. In her book, The Warmth of Our Other Suns, Wilkerson writes this: she writes that America is made up of people who came from someplace else. And she continues that America is what it is because people came from someplace else. My grandmother came from a village in the south of India, but today she's in the audience. So Baba, I hope you're proud of me. Telling your story is the only way I can think of introducing a speaker like today's. So fellow graduates, it's been a real honor. I hope you'll join me in welcoming this year's commencement speaker, storyteller Isabel Wilkerson, to the stage.